Hello, 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 welcome, 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 hello and welcome, welcome. I'm Dan, your friendly fishmonger at dansfish.com. We do this live stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. That's 9 Eastern for those who find themselves mountain challenged. Thanks for joining us. Glad you could spend a bit of your Wednesday evening with us. I'm going to give you our shipping report for the week, and then I've got a really special giveaway I'm going to talk about for a while. And then after that, we'll get to your questions and comments. And then I got to pack my bags. I'm ready to go because I'm leaving on a jet plane to go to Los Angeles. I'll be speaking at the Coast Fish Club there. So if you're in the LA area, let's see here. And then check it out. I'll leave a link to their club website. Here it is. This is Coast, one of the biggest fish clubs in Southern California. And look at that, little old me. I'll be there this weekend, Sunday, August 6th, down here in Fountain Valley. So come check it out. Check out the Coast website, and all the information is there. I would love to see you. One thing I miss a lot is vibing at fish clubs with fish nerds. In fact, the entire reason I started this live stream was so I could vibe with fish nerds, because I moved to Wyoming. There's not a lot of fish keepers in my wee little town here, my little town of 18,000 people. And so in order to vibe with a lot of fish keepers, I do it virtually now. So thanks for being here, vibing with me. That's what my kids say. I used to say hanging out. Now it's vibing. Yeah. I'm getting old, can't keep up with the lingo. Anyway, I would love to see you down there at the Coast meeting this weekend, Sunday. And I'll be there the whole time. I'm not leaving until Monday, so I can hang out with you after the talk. We can chat. I'd love to meet you guys in person. Just when you introduce yourself, let me know your real name, but also let me know your username, because that's how I know most people. Anyways, I can't wait. Let's go ahead and do the shipping report. It's not good. We have dropped down to 98.44%. The reason we've dropped down is there was one shipment of rummy nose tetras that arrived alive, arrived looking in good shape from what I understand, but was pretty much gone the next day. We're working with the customer. I'm pretty sure it was a quarantine tank failure. And I've been thinking lately about not recommending quarantine. The reason is I do think you should quarantine your fish. But the problem is when you set up like a brand new hospital tank or a brand new quarantine tub or whatever, right before the fish get to you, you're putting them in a very unstable environment. And yeah, you can take like an established sponge filter and pop it over or whatever, but unless you have a lot of experience jump starting tanks from scratch, I should change that. Sorry, my lips are dry. Even if you have a lot of experience, but especially if you don't have a lot of experience, that can go sideways real quick. Anytime you have a freshly set up environment for your fish and it hasn't had time to mature and stabilize, things can just go wrong really, really fast. So I don't know quite how to approach it. I don't ever want to, there's always a possibility that the fish we send could have a latent disease or have something that their immune system is used to, but the fish in your tank has never seen. And there is always a chance, slim as it could be, always a chance that anytime you add a new fish to an aquarium, you could wipe out the tank. Think of like what smallpox did when Europeans first discovered North America, what that did to the native populations, right? Same kind of idea. That's just a really tragic example, but it's one most of us know. That's why I'm using it. Same thing could happen in a fish tank. Fish are very similar to us. They have all the same organs pretty much. They have livers and brains and kidneys and hearts and intestines and all that stuff. I mean, they're a little different, but they're very similar to us when it comes to a lot of bodily functions, and therefore, you know, if they get a kidney infection, it's a problem. If their liver fails, it's a problem. There's, you know, all those things, just like you and I. So I don't think drawing comparisons between fish and humans, broadly speaking, is that big of a stretch when we're talking about immunity. So a fish might have something that it's pretty much immune to. Its immune system knows this virus or knows this thing, and it grew up with it, and it's all hardy against it, but other fish might not have it. So that's the risk you run if you don't quarantine. And I never want to be the guy that sent a fish that I thought was healthy that ended up wiping out your prize show tank or something like that, right? That would be a horrible experience. So on one hand, I do want to recommend quarantine. I do want to say, yes, please quarantine the fish. And ideally, before you introduce it to your tank, take a fish from your tank and put it in the quarantine tank with the new fish after they've been through the quarantine period, and let them sit another couple of weeks, right? And make sure that fish doesn't have a problem. So you could go crazy with quarantine. So that's one way to approach it. The other way to approach it is don't quarantine, because the odds are that you might set up an unstable environment, a freshly established, if you take a tank, put water in it, and think it's ready to go right then, it's very unstable, that environment. And so I think a lot of people set up quarantine environments with the best of intentions and end up killing their fish because they set up a very new, unstable quarantine tub or whatever, tank, whatever it might be. So I'm torn. I don't know what to do. It's always a huge bummer. And imagine you're a customer and you've saved up money and you've been wanting this fish, and it arrived and you're all excited and you put them in your tank, and the next day, like, the majority of them are dead. Like, what a horrible experience. That's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So I don't know. Is it, when people ask, should I quarantine, saying, no, just put the fish, if you have a tank that's all established and mature and is not going to go through any parameter shifts with the addition of however many fish you just bought, because it's well enough established it'll adjust really quickly, then just put them in there? Or do I say it's safer for the fish you already have if you do quarantine, but be aware when you set up a quarantine environment, you're setting up, if it's freshly set up and not run like a normal aquarium, a very unstable environment. Things can go sideways really quickly. So I don't know. I'm torn. This isn't the first time something like this has happened. It doesn't happen regularly, but I think it would be very easy to set up a quarantine environment and with all the correct intentions and inadvertently create a problem for the fish just because it's such a new, unstable thing. So that's what I'm wrestling with right now. It has been a long time since something like this happened, but every time it happens, it makes me go, should we be recommending quarantine? And I don't know. I don't know the answer, but so that was the big problem that we had this week. Now, there were a couple other losses, but so few that we would have gone up in our percentage of success. We're trying to get to 99% success rate running total over the last 12 months. Right now, we're at 98.44, and we had been climbing pretty steadily until this happened, and we're counting that. We count that against us. Even though I don't think it was something on our end. Now, that being said, I suppose it's possible that something happened in shipping where temperature got way off or something, and so the fish were just very weakened and ended up all dying overnight. However, I suspect if that was the case, that a few of them would have arrived dead already. I don't think that if you're putting fish through that much stress, and it was a good-sized group of fish, that a few of them aren't going to succumb. Like, how they should arrive is probably washed out a little bit and stuff because they're in shipping and they've been in a dark box for a day or whatever. But lively, and they're probably going to be shy when you first put them in the new tank, but they should be vigorous, right? They should be active, and obviously looking at them be like, oh, okay, this is a robust fish. That's what it should be. And I think if a fish goes through so much stress, a group of fish goes through so much stress that they're all going to be dead the next morning, that you would see repercussions of that probably in at least a few dead fish when they first arrived, if things were that out of whack. Also, we've shipped thousands and thousands of the platinum rummy-nosed tetras. They're one of our best-selling fish. We ship a lot of them. And they are a fish that we do have problems with occasionally, but usually it's very, very seldom. And usually it's like one. Like you bought a group of 20, one didn't make it, something like that. When they're put in a brand new tank and like pretty much all of them have problems within 12 hours, I tend to think something happened in that environment. I don't know what it could be. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. And by the way, I'm not trying to blame the customer. If the customer is watching, we appreciate you reaching out. We're going to work with you. We're going to see if we can figure out a way to say like, so here's my plan. We're emailing this customer, and what I want to say is, my guess is that something happened in that unstable, newly set up hospital tank. That's my guess. So can we set up that tank in such a way it isn't as unstable? Establish sponge filter, which I think they did. Maybe some gravel from the other tank. Maybe a few fish from the other tank. Keep them in there for a few weeks until that thing's all stabilized. Or a bunch of snails, something you can feed, something that can make that tank bioactive. And then after a few weeks, when it's now, you know, a fairly well-established tank, we'll resend to you. We won't charge you. We'll resend you all the fish and see if we have more success that way. That's how I think the right approach is to a case like this. It's a little tricky though, because this customer has received fish from us before and treated them the same way and not had problems. But I do think anytime you set up a brand new environment for fish, you're playing Russian roulette a little bit. So anyway, that's what happened this week, and that's my thoughts on that. I don't know which way to go. I mean, we do everything we can to quarantine our fish and treat them. We've been lucky the last few months to have a veterinarian in residence to help us with that. We now have even better procedures for medicating. We've been trained in how to do skin scrapings and gill clippings and look for internal parasites and things like that a little better. We've got a lab set up with a microscope and some equipment to help us with that. So it's better than it's ever been. But there's still stuff that could happen. Like it's definitely possible that we could send you a fish and it could be a problem. It could wipe out an aquarium that you have established on your end. I mean, that is in the realm of possibility. It's just a reality of this hobby of keeping fish. So anyway, I already went over the two options there. Anyway, that's what's on my mind. How do I mean, ideally, I think a quarantine tank is set up like an established aquarium, not like a fresh hospital tank, but like it's an established aquarium. And maybe it doesn't have fish in it. Maybe it has a bunch of blackworms in it, or a bunch of snails, or a colony of shrimp, or something that's less likely to be a host, a vector point for disease that could go to fish, but that is fed constantly so the tank is well maintained, and the little ecosystem that is an aquarium has all the inputs that it's going to have when the fish get there, food and whatnot, right? It's not going to go through an ammonia spike or through a big parameter shift because fresh water was put in there and it hasn't gassed off or stabilized completely. Water in our taps is very, very different than water once it comes out of our taps. Once it gets out of our tap and is no longer pressurized and such, massive parameter swings happen. And if that happens while the fish is in the water, it can be a real problem. So anyway, maybe we just need to rethink what quarantine means. I also think there's a conflation that's happening in our hobby where we think of quarantine, we hear quarantine and we think medication. And that's not what quarantine means. Quarantine means separation, not medication. So quarantine is just, I'm keeping these animals and observing them for a period of time to make sure they seem healthy before I add them to an established colony of animals. So I'm less likely to transfer a disease with a newly introduced animal, right? So I don't know, thoughts I'm thinking, just stuff I'm trying to figure out the best way to approach. Okay, with that, so we did get dinged a little bit because we're going to count that is an issue on our end when a customer has a big loss. So yeah, all right, that's where we're at. That's the report. I wish it was better. And to that customer, I'm so sorry you had that experience. Whether it was our fault, like whether something happened in shipping or whether it happened on your end, I don't care. We're going to help. We're going to try to figure this out, and we're going to try to help you be successful with that species. No matter what happened, it's just a bummer of an experience. So sorry it happened to you. Really, I am. With that, let's get to the giveaway. Let's talk about something more fun. Okay. The giveaway is for these. I love these. Hang on, I gotta fix my little floating head down there. So weird, just this disembodied bust of Dan on the lower right-hand corner. Maybe I should just remove that. I don't know. No, then I can't do things like this. See that? Okay. Oh, one more thing before we get to the fun stuff that I need to fix, before I forget, so I'll just do it here in real time, I guess, is there's been some confusion, I think, on one of the species we sell. I've had a couple reviews that were unhappy with the barbs they got. Here, let me show you. So I don't know if this person was unhappy with the mascara barbs, just said they have some growing to do. So that seems fine. But this person was very unhappy. I'm not quite sure why. We're reaching out. I think what happened here was they thought the fish were larger than they actually were. And I'm not quite sure why, except for on a live stream a while ago, I talked about the stock we had. These are the tear spot barb, Aurelius barbs. And when I did that, I showed this picture and talked about this group of fish. And at the time, this is a picture of one of those fish I was talking about. At the time, we had big 3-inch adults, and so I was talking about them and how they were big and beautiful, but we only had 5 of them. The next group that came in were not adults. They were 1.5 inches, which is on the listing, but I think that this customer probably saw the live stream and saw me talking about how big and beautiful they were. And then when they ordered, those ones weren't available anymore. The 1.5 inches were available, but I don't think they read that. And so I think they were expecting big fish, and what they got was small fish, which would be very disappointing. So what I'm going to do real quick before I forget is just change that so there can be no confusion. Or they saw max size instead of shipping size and conflated them. Tier. And just because if I don't do it now, I'll forget. I'm just going to change this real quick to say 1.5 inches. There. Now I don't think there'll be any confusion, even if someone saw that live stream. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the giveaway. If I don't do that now, I'll forget. It's for these. These are some Starry Night Sulawesi shrimp. our colony is absolutely exploding. They are doing amazing. A lot of our Sulawesi shrimp colonies are exploding. And I'm very happy about that. It's taken months. You know, you start with 6, and it takes a long time to build them up. But once they get going, it seems like they're as prolific as like cherry shrimp once the colony really gets going. But I love these guys. I think they're just an awesome looking, neat Sulawesi shrimp. And since our colony is doing so well, I figured why not have those be our giveaway. And we have others as well, like our cardinal shrimp colony, absolutely exploding. I love these guys with their white little gloves. It looks like they're prancing around as they're going around trying to pick up food all the time. This is another one that's just fantastic. We have quite a few of them. Now, most of them we don't have great pictures of because I'm bad at taking pictures and it's really hard to get good pictures of shrimp for me. But this colony is exploding as well. This is a really pretty one. Another Sulawesi shrimp. I'm just showing you the Sulawesi types right now. We have others as well. The red orchids are doing awesome. That picture, yeah. Little white dots and stripes on a red base is what these are. Oh, that one's less reddish, but some of them are really red. Some of them are less red. Should be clear about that. And a few others, but we have several others in the works, but those are the ones that are currently just exploding. And let me show you a few others here. So here's some more pictures of starry night shrimp. Oh, look at that. I love it when we're like in the top row of a... Actually, let's see where we are in just the regular Google search. What's our ranking? We're number 2 and 3. That's not bad. That's not bad. All right, we're doing something right. They have all kinds of different names, but I think all these Sulawesi shrimp are awesome. And so here's just now Sulawesi has a massive variety of different shrimp and snails and gobies and things. Here's just a quick search. Look at all this variety. We have a colony of something like this coming up too. These kind of white and red striped ones. They're not there yet, but I think that colony's got a couple more months. These unfortunately didn't get going for us. We tried, but I don't think they're producing. And it's been a few months, so I don't know if they will. We might have all females or something. But this is one I want to do as well. This red with these yellow rings on them. Like, look at these little jewels. And these are, believe it or not, these are freshwater shrimp, right? You would think, looking at these, you'd think that these are saltwater shrimp. They're just so awesome. Look at all the variety. Oh yeah. All these red and white striped guys. Now, for a long time, I was really hesitant to get Sulawesi shrimp because I heard that they needed special water conditions, really high temperatures, like 84 degrees. Basically, keep them at discus temperatures is what I was told. But ours have been doing well for months at 79 degrees, and they are producing like gangbusters. So obviously that works. It's long-term, several generations. Now, our water is really hard. Our water is naturally hard and alkaline, which is the second thing that you kind of want for Sulawesi shrimp. But that's what most people in the United States have right out of their tap. Most of the water in your major cities and stuff is pretty hard alkaline water. Now, if you're in Seattle, that might be different. But generally speaking, your water is going to be hard and alkaline if you are in the United States. Now, a quick look at these. This is Sulawesi. Let's just back up. Okay, Australia's here, Papua New Guinea's here, right? And then you've got Sulawesi here. And the way this island has developed, you have these big lakes that are completely separate from each other, and each one has evolved its own fauna. So the shrimp in Lake Poso look different from the shrimp in Lake Matano, which look different from the shrimp here in Lake Tawodi, right? Just because look how separated they are. They've been separated for long enough that these animals have really, really differentiated. And the biodiversity is incredible. Oh, what's this lake? I'm not familiar with this one. Mahalona? Mahalona. I don't know if I've ever got anything from Mahalona. That might be a really hard lake to get to. But that's why Sulawesi's developed all these interesting shrimp and gobies and stuff. So here's Lake Matano, just a quick image search. You have half-beaks. You've got different, I mean, we call these rainbow fish, right? Like Celebes rainbows and things is a common name for these fish, these types of fish, but they're actually not rainbow fish. They're not pseudomugils. They're actually a species of silverside that is adapted to look and behave a lot like pseudomugils and blue eyes, which are, you know, related to rainbow fish in the same kind of group as rainbow fish. So they're similar, but they're silversides. They're not pseudomugilae. So the Telematharina, I mean, look at this genus. Let's look these up. Telematharina fish. These guys are awesome. And I've been lucky enough to source several kinds. Can't get them in large numbers, and they're a little difficult, but you probably know them best from the Celebes rainbow. That's a closely related one. But where's the ones with the long... These guys are awesome. We've had this one in, Telematharina bonti. These come from the Sulawesi environments. This is one of our pictures of Seracinorum. Unfortunately, I didn't get this when they were colored up with their big fin extensions. They're really stunning fish. They get these big, dark fin extensions. Let me see if I can find... It's so hard to find any information on these guys. They're super rare, so there's just not a lot of information. Look at this beauty. This is not that one. This is Antoniae, but still really cool. I guess this is kind of showing, but it gets much better than that. This kind of shows it. Yeah, there's just not a lot of information available about them, so that limits what we can do in a quick Google search. But there's all these neat little shrimp. There's all the rabbit snails and stuff. Those come from all these Sulawesi lakes. A lot of biodiversity in the rabbit snails. And then I want to show you some gobies. Oh, here's one. Look at these little guys. Just all these beautiful, neat gobies. Some of them are shell dwellers. They've adapted to live in the snail shells, similar to what shellies in Lake Tanganyika have done. Not quite the same. They're not like an obligate shell dweller, but they do use them. Oh, look at that. That's a great picture. Thanks, Practical Fish Keeping. So the biodiversity is awesome. And then you've got some rice fish that are awesome. So we're looking in Lake Matano right now. This is the Matano rice fish, and I have failed to get a picture of them when they're nice and colored up. Let's see if anyone else has got them. They turn yellow and black. That's gesturing towards it, but imagine this black really black and the yellow really yellow. I don't know if we'll find it. And then one from another lake is Profundicola. Yeah, my picture's horrible. But no one else has got a good picture either. So it's not just me, I guess. Anyway. Oh, here's another really cool goby. Look at these. All kinds of different gobies. Let's see if we can find Mugilla gobius rexi. That's a cool one. These guys I love. They're yellow, they don't get too big, and the black here on the ventral fins and the dorsal fins, these black accents, get really dark black and they get really yellow. So they get yellow like that, but imagine that with stark black accents. You can kind of, oh, that picture's so small, you can't see it probably. You can kind of see it here, but it's much more impressive. So there's this whole group of awesome fish and shrimp and snails from the Sulawesi lakes. And the starry night ones are one of those. And that's why when we talk about certain classes of shrimp, we call them Sulawesi shrimp. You know, it's coming from those lakes on the Sulawesi Islands where this amazing biodiversification of aquatic life has happened. They're just fantastic. Everyone's putting hashtag Sulawesi. Nope. If you would like to win a group of Starry Night Sulawesi shrimp, then enter, I made it even easier, hashtag shrimp to enter and win. I was going to put Sulawesi, but I was like, yeah, that's hard to spell. There'll be a lot of errors. But just hashtag shrimp, hashtag SHRIMP will get you entered in for a colony. We'll send you at least 6. Our colony's just busting on these, so we can send you 6, 8, maybe even. There we go, hashtag shrimp. That's how you enter the giveaway. See, what else happened? Oh, we got an amazing shipment this week from South America, and they did us right. I didn't make an unboxing video. I wish I had, though. They did a great job. They did not overpack the fish. The water was clear. Ammonia read at 0.5 ppm. You don't want any ammonia, but 0.5 ppm is a lot less than fish in transit from an exporter usually experience, less by far. Often we read the ammonia reading and it's like so dark, it's crazy. But this was just the lightest green. So yeah, so that went really well. Next week I'll tell you exactly what it is that we got in. And I'm so happy because I've been very hesitant to bring in wild cories and plecos and things just because I know they're riddled with parasites. And we've tried different treatment methods and sometimes it works, sometimes it is kind of hit and miss. But over the last several months, our veterinarian in residence has been helping us with that, and we know what to do now. Like, we've got a couple batches through different procedures and protocols. We found one that works really well, and so now I'll be able to bring in more of that kind of stuff that you just can't find aquarium bred and raised. Because now I'm confident that A, I can take care of them on my end and clean them up and get them ready long term. It'll be less hit and miss. It's always been a little hit and miss before. Or you'd think they were healthy and you start selling them and then a few days later it's like, oh shoot, something's wrong. It's just this yo-yo up and down. But now we've tested on, well, hundreds of fish at this point, and I think we figured it out. So no, nothing's 100%, but we're doing a good enough job now that I think I'm more confident we can make that work. So thanks to our veterinarian, if you're watching, thanks so much for your help the last several months. Her residency has come to an end. I'll miss her, but we're still working closely with her. So if there's any other veterinarians out there that want to do a residency and figure out how to do fish medicine and maybe work towards getting certified, we'd love to hear from you. We love having that expertise in-house. It's so helpful. Anyway, that was exciting. We are down a man this week, so there's just been a lot of keeping the business running. I was hoping to get some content created and stuff, but that's not going to happen for at least a week because right now I'm covering for someone that's out, and then I'll be in LA for the next few days, and when I get back there'll be catch up. So yeah, sorry, I'm trying. Besides that though, I'm happy to report that we We got the numbers in for July, and we're doing really well. We are on course for becoming a sustainable company. We've got a ways to go, but the road out of startup mode and into sustainable mode seems to be clearing. It seems like we're getting a better sense of what to do. And we're going to be starting a marketing campaign here that I think will work. Will help. I mean, we'll see, we'll test. Like, we don't know till we try, but we've got someone helping us that I'm very excited about, someone who actually knows what they're doing. And so thank you if you're watching for your help. And yeah, the future is rosy. Now, it's still nerve-wracking. Startup phase is just nerve-wracking. But then I talk to other people and they're like, yeah, that never goes away. If you own a business, it's always, like, the last thing was the UPS strike, right? If UPS went on strike, that was going to be, a nightmare. That would have been a nightmare no matter what. So that was a big worry, but that didn't happen. So that's off the plate, and now we can worry about something else, I guess. We do have a lot of things that will be listed the next couple days. Johnny's going to get on that. So again, I had to cover for someone, so I was just bagging fish all day and feeding their section of fish and caring for things. So I did not get that list out in advance. I don't have it with me. Normally what I would want to do right now is show you the stuff that's ready to go or is going to be listed in the next couple days, but I'm sorry, I don't have that. But there is a fish that I want to show you that's looking amazing. Every time I walk by that tank, they stop me in my tracks because they're displaying all the time. This is not a rare fish, but it is a beautiful fish. And it's this. It's a molly. Who would have thunk it? The gold sailfin mollies are doing awesome. We put them through the new treatment protocol, so they got cleaned up really quick. It didn't take us a month like it often does. Within a couple weeks, they were cleaned up, fattened up, ready to go. And the difference is clear. Like, I don't think any losses. I don't know if that's a true statement, but zero or maybe very few losses. Whereas with live bears, often you have losses you have to deal with. And they're displaying constantly. Like, these guys are happy. They're doing fantastic. So I know that that's just a fish that we've all seen, but they're what's stopping me every time I walk down J-Row. I just stop for a bit and look at them. The other thing that will be coming available, which is also stunning, is this. If I could spell it. So we had a bunch of Rhinogobius come available recently. Look at this. I finally got a good picture of Enchuensis. Kind of got the color on the tail and the dorsal, got the marks on the face. Look at that. Got it. Very happy with that. But these guys, let's see, where are they? Aha. These guys are now through quarantine and ready to go. Rhinogobius jouy. A nice, healthy batch. I think they're going to do great for you, and we will have those listed very soon. Again, we wanted them listed today, but we've been short a person and we've been playing catch up. So that's another one that's doing fantastic. And then oh man, there's also a paradise fish. But it's not the common paradise fish. It's a new species. I've never seen it in person before. It is awesome. And I don't have any pictures, so I'm not going to dwell on it too much because that would just be cruel. But I'll get pictures when I get back. There's no way I'm going to get them before I leave. But just an amazing new paradise fish. Let me see if I can... Let me see if there happens to be a picture of it. I doubt it. Oh, what was it called? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I think that it was a brand like Jeung Cheng or something like that. Brand new species. I can't remember how to spell. Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Johnny. Let me see if I can. Macropodus. For those listening on the podcast, I'm trying to search up a paradise fish here so I can show it to folks. Zhao Queen, maybe? No. I don't know if there is a picture of it on the internet, to tell you the truth. It's one I had never seen or even heard of before. Took a gamble on it. Oh, they're fantastic. Anyway, that's coming up. All right. With that, I've been rambling for 43 minutes. It's time to stop and to thank my moderators for being here and doing what they do every week. Thanks so much. Really appreciate you guys. Good to see you, Kaylers, Aquatics, and Exotics. Hey, Johnny. Johnny sees me every day, so. Chevy Fish, and who else is in the house? Scrolling up just to see if there's any other mods I missed. If there are, I'm sorry that I missed you, but I'm glad you're here anyways. With that, let's get to your questions and comments, starting with Kelly Foreman, who threw down a generous super chat. Thank you so much, Kelly Foreman. So happy things are going well. Me too. Not as quickly as I would like, but we got the report in for last quarter, and we did okay. We need to do better, but we did okay. We're trending in the right direction, so I'm happy to see the progress. All right. Chawnsworth is asking, any chance there's more mountain grunters in the future? Yes, but that's going to be not until at least September. So in September, Gary Lang is going the end of this month, beginning of next month, to Papua to collect new rainbow fish. And I'm trying to schedule my import of fish so that I can also bring in his box of fish for him. Because it's a lot easier to bring in a fish in large numbers. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So I'm holding off ordering from that supplier until September, just so I can help bring in some new rainbow fish for Gary, and hopefully he can breed them and get them established. So that's why I'm waiting. Now, that being said, I'm still not 100% sure if I will be placing that order in September. If it works out and I can do it, great, and Gary's can tag along and that'll be helpful. But I think I've kind of saturated the rainbow fish market. I have species. Let's look at some rainbow fish. I've got species of rainbow fish that I've had forever. Let's see here. Let's just look at Melanotania. So the Tabubils, fantastic, had them forever. Lengaroo, super rare, hard to find, beautiful, had them forever. Blythe Rivers, looking great, had them forever. All these fish I've had for a long time. So I think it's time to take a little break from rainbow fish, just because I think I've saturated the market. This one, the Van Herneri, amazing. I don't know if anyone else in the United States had them. They're fantastic. Took me months to sell them. I just think the bowheads have already filled their tanks. And so it's hard for me to do a special import of rainbow fish from my rainbow fish supplier when I've got a bunch and they aren't moving, because that would be a bad business decision. So I'm not quite sure if I'll be able to do that order in September. I don't know. But the supplier has other animals as well, other species as well. So maybe it might work out. If it does, I kind of have to tally it up and see if there's enough other species that they supply that it's worth doing an import. But usually when I import from this breeder, the backbone of that import is rainbow fish. So I'm not sure if I can fill 20 boxes without the rainbow fish. So I got to figure that out. Kids Aquatics and Reptiles says, shout out getgills.com. Yeah, you know what? I haven't done that in forever. If you have fish that you breed and you would like to sell, then there's a website called getgills.com. And it's a place where people list fish for sale. And there's a lot of fish for sale here. A lot of different people. You can create your own store on here. And think of it as a big flea market. You can have a booth at the flea market and sell your fish, right? Get Gills is the flea market. The booth is your store, or your store is the booth. And if you got stuff to sell, this is a good place to list it. The website only charges 5% of your sales in commission. That's how the website is kept up. It's not a big money maker or anything, but it's just, it costs money to host the site and the different software that runs the site. Some of it we have to pay for and things. So if you sell $100 of fish, the website collects 5%. The payment processor collects, what do payment? I think it's like 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. The standard thing that Stripe and PayPal and all those collect. But it's a great place to sell fish. So, and also buy fish if you're looking for some stuff. A lot of this stuff is hobbyist bred and raised. Not all of it, but a lot of it is. And we list some of our stuff on here as well. But I would encourage people to check out getgills.com. It's like Shopify in that there's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you're like, oh, now I get it, it's very simple to maintain. You can list stuff, you can deactivate it, and then when you get it again, just click it again and it'll relist automatically. You don't have to put in new pictures every time or anything like that. You can select all the shipping methods you want and customize that to your heart's content. You can customize it in lots of ways. So if you're interested in selling, getgills.com. If you're interested in buying stuff from hobbyist breeders, getgills.com is a great place to do that. So thanks, Kids Aquatics and Reptiles, for reminding me to talk about Get Gills. So Chonsworth, I hope there's grunters here in September, but I don't know for sure yet. But yeah, that's a fish I want to bring in again. I love those things. Paul Soltero, any cories or dwarf cichlids in this shipment? Yes, but I'm not going to spill the beans on what they are until I'm sure they're out of quarantine and stuff. So next week, I should be able to talk about that. Lake F. Oh, that's for Johnny. Mitchell, hey, good to hear from you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Time to do a vet-approved process video. Yeah, I think so, but I think we want more. I think instead of a couple months of trying things and then settling on this one, I think we want a couple months of trying things, settling, and then trying this method we settled on for a few months. So I just want more experience under my belt before I talk about that. Things are doing well, but we could still make some tweaks. So, Miguel Leon, what new fish are coming this week? The pre-order came this week, and Johnny will list a bunch of stuff in the next couple days. But like I said, I've been covering for another person that's out, and so I don't have that list available and ready right now. I'm a little behind. Tony Adams, I'm getting the feeling the wild cories you got are in our Equus, aren't they? I know, because I can't take them at the moment, and I want them bad. Wouldn't that just be ironic? No, Tony, I did not get Equus in. I love Equus, though. One of the most beautiful fish out there. Max Vera Frank, hi, Dan. When you were selling orange zebra autocinkless, what did you feed them? Were they finicky? They were finicky at first until they learned the ways of the aquarium, but no, eventually they started eating pretty much everything. But I often start wild fish when they're first in. This is going to sound weird, but I'll give giant ottos and orange zebra ottos. I might occasionally give them bloodworms, especially giant ottos. I think giant ottos are a little more carnivorous than we realize. But just a little bit. I'm not overdoing it, but I would do that a little bit because they would eat them And I don't have to do this with common autos. I don't really have to do this with zebra autos, although I might every now and then on a zebra auto for a treat. But I'll give them a little bit of that. And the main thing to get autos to eat is keep the food you want them to eat in front of them. So I'd always have a coin zucchini in there, for example, or coin zucchini and algae wafer in there all the time. They wouldn't eat that, so I'd change that out every day, right, before it kind of disintegrates and spoils and gets nasty. But I keep it in front of them. And then I would also feed Bacter AE. That's like an artificial biofilm that would coat things. And then one of the main things we do is we rotate in things that have algae growing on them. Pipes, like PVC pipes that have a bunch of algae growing on them, put that in. Plates, you put plates in aquariums, wait till algae grows on them, rotate that in. So every day or so, we're rotating stuff in that has biofilm and algae while the prepared foods and the zucchini are in front of them, and supplementing that with like Bacter AE. And maybe just a few bloodworms every now and then, not on the common autos, but mostly on the giant autos, and sometimes a little bit on the zebra autos, or orange zebra autos, and a little bit sometimes maybe on the zebra autos. Especially if they come in really skinny and it's like, okay, they just need something. And because they will eat that. You just don't want to overdo it or do it often. So they come in, they're real skinny, and it's like priority is food now. Then yeah, we put in all the biofilm stuff and the algae stuff. But also, believe it or not, a little bit of frozen bloodworms every now and then. What else do we do? Wood. Wood is great, especially if it's got a bunch of algae growing all over it. Wood is great. They'll eat the algae, they'll kind of rasp on the wood a little bit, and you can tell when they're doing that because they'll poop out wood. So they're obviously getting something from it. So that's the trick. Keep their natural foods in front of them, and also the prepared foods in front of them while they're learning what the prepared foods are. So, and by the way, that's the trick with getting most things to eat that are freshly arrived. So our trick to getting things to eat is not to starve them. It's to keep the food we want them to eat, keep offering that until they learn to eat it, but also keep them, give them food that they'll eat as well. We don't want our fish to get skinny, and they've been through a lot. So that's how we do it. Miguel Leon, I already got that one. Okay, I'm scrolling down now, sorry. Killer Kitty, member for 11 months. Thank you, Killer Kitty, for being with us for almost a year now. I still got to figure out something to do for year folks, sorry. Oh, I'm trying to think when I can do that. It's not going to be this week. But you're in my thoughts. You're in my thoughts a lot, guys. Thanks to the members. Member for 11 months and 30 days and 1 minute before Xanadudu. How time flies. Hey, you beat Xanadudu. That's the perk right there. And you just gifted 5 memberships. Killer Kitty, thank you so much. That's very generous and extremely helpful of you. I really love seeing the memberships grow. Thanks, Johnny. I promised Johnny I would talk about small shipping boxes today because we have discovered something, which is this is a small shipping box, right? It's 7 by 7 by 6 inches. This is also a small shipping box, but it's bigger. This one is 8 by 8 by 7 inches, upside down, sorry. And what we've discovered is we can ship this larger box for approximately the same cost as we can ship this smaller box. Not exactly, but approximately. So hopefully that helps folks save money on shipping. So if you, the smaller option is just better now. You can stick with the standard 6 to 7 fish if you want, and we'll ship them in that smaller small box, which in-house we're now calling the tiny box. Or you can add a few more, pay the same shipping, so it's less shipping per fish, and we'll ship them in that slightly larger box. It's also taller, so when someone orders discus or something and we need them taller, we don't always, Okay, if there's like one discus bag, we can get it plenty tall and get it in the teeny box. But if you order like 4 or something and they're kind of squished together, then they're going to kind of rise up higher. And in that case, we can ship them in the taller box. It's got another inch of space, so that helps with high-bodied fish like discus and angels and stuff. Johnny, thanks for reminding me to fulfill my promise to you. Fish Hunter, how many adult angelfish can live in a 125-gallon aquarium? Oh, a lot. I've had a dozen or more in 125-gallon. And I do think if you're going to do angelfish in a large tank, I do think having a large number of them helps. It just helps spread the aggression out. If you only have a couple, then sometimes one can just dominate the other one, even in a 125-gallon aquarium. If you have like 3, you might get 1 pair, and then the odd one out will get picked on all the time. So like a dozen or so, I think is 20 even in a 125-gallon would not be a problem. So I say if you want a tank that size with a lot of angelfish in it, I would do like 20 or so. I think that will really help with any aggression issues. Holy cow! Folks are making the memberships rain. Xanadudu gifted 5 memberships. Kelly Foreman, not to be outdone by Killer Kitty or Xanadudu, also gifted 5 memberships. Thank you. Thank you to all 3 of you. That is amazing. Got to get on the member train. Choo choo. Thanks, Kelly. I think that's one of the most helpful things someone can do for our channel. The super chats are great. If you want to throw money at us, yay. We'll take it, and we'll be so grateful. But when you give a super chat, like the benefit kind of stops there. When you give a membership, a certain percentage of those members are going to renew, and that's a little recurring revenue every month, so it doesn't end. When you give a membership, the benefit to us as a company doesn't end with that amount. That's an accruing thing that happens long term. So it's much, much appreciated. We're a little startup company. We're a little less little than we were last time we talked, but we've still got a lot of growing we need to do. So thanks for helping us in our effort to get this company off the ground and get it sustainable. Much appreciated. Okay, Ryan Fish Adventures. Wish I could sell you some of my hyphen calico bristlenose. If you have any normal fin calico bristlenose, Ryan, we would be interested. We don't tend to send the long fin bushies. Those fins are just so big and delicate, and I think I would risk sending you fish with damaged fins if I did that. It's already difficult enough to make sure when we pull fish that the fins aren't damaged and to get them to you in good shape. And every now and then we miss something. There's a split fin or whatever. And, usually that just grows back. In certain species, it's like, okay, this is a cichlid. It's going to have some bumps because they're combative fish, right? But I don't tend to carry veil-tail angels or long-fin plecos, large fish with really long fins, because I just think shipping them without damaging the fins, it just adds another layer of something to worry about, something else that could more easily go wrong. So I tend to shy away from that. Now, I don't mind like long-fin white clouds or neon tetras or long-fin cherry barbs, small fish with long fins. I feel like that's more manageable. But once we get into the larger bushies and angels and stuff, that's where I get a little, I don't need that worry on top of everything else right now. So if you have normal fin ones, Ryan, I would be interested in some calico bushies. What, Wendy saw a bear on the game trail? Wowzer. Yeah, I hope you're carrying your bear spray. Okay, so there is a scoutmaster. And he was talking to a group of new scouts, and they were about to go on their first hike. And they were all very excited. And the scoutmaster said, well, up in the mountains, there's some bears. And there's black bears and grizzly bears. And we have to explain to you the difference in how you can tell if there's a black bear in the area or a grizzly in the area, because grizzlies can be pretty dangerous. So one way you can tell is by looking at their scat, their poop. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. And so to help protect you from these bears, we're going to give you each some pepper spray, and here's some bells to wear on your ankles. So that way when you're walking down the trail, the bells will make noise and you won't surprise the bear. It'll hear you and probably take off. And the pepper spray, if a bear charges you, you can spray it and stop it. So that's how you protect yourself from bears on this hike. And the way you can tell if there's a black bear in the area is you look at the poop, and black bears eat a lot of berries and stuff, so it'll probably be full of like berry seeds and stuff. And the way you can tell if a grizzly bear is in the area is you look at the poop and it will be full of bells and smell like pepper. I messed it up a little bit in the middle there, but I think I still landed that joke. One of my favorites. I always think of that when someone talks about bears. Miguel Leon, bring in some Kalitawa, please. Oh, I would like to. Yeah, I would like to. I would like to bring in Kalitawa. I'd like to bring in Marisai. But what I'd really like to do is I've now distributed hundreds and hundreds of Kalitawa and lots of Marisai. So I feel like what we should do now is be buying them from hobbyist breeders. So if you've bred and raised, anyone listening, Kalitawa or Marisai, Melanotaenium Marisai, that's what I would like to do, is purchase those from hobbyist breeders. I can pay you 25% of retail shipped. I could sell those for $20 to $25 each. 20 is where they'll really move. And so I can pay you $5 landed. If the fish gets to me and it costs me $5 for the fish plus whatever it costs to ship to me, total $5 landed, then I can make that work. So if someone breeds a few hundred of those, if you breed a couple hundred, and let's say it's $4 each because it's $1 shipping. I mean, it's less for shipping if you put, depending on how you do it. But let's say it's $4 each, then I can pay $800. I'd be happy to do that. Because I'm assuming $1 per fish would go to shipping. Just, you know, I don't know if that's true, but something like that. Yes, I would love, love, love to buy those. Some Aves Creek. Let's see here. Did we sell out of Aves Creek or a Tinjo? I think we are. Yeah. So yeah, I would like to bring in a Tinjo. I would like to bring in Aves Creek. There are some species that just sell really well perpetually that I'd like to bring in. So we'll see if I can do that or not. I just have to see if I can put together an order that merits an import. Hoon Aquatics, a break makes sense, but thank you on behalf of all rainbow fish fans in the US for issuing in the golden age of rainbows. Never had so many species been made available. Thank you, Dan and team. Oh, thanks, Hoon Aquatics. That's very nice of you. But yeah, I'm not saying I'll never bring them in again, but it just sales have really slowed down. Oh, wow. Can I show you guys this? Speaking of rainbows, these Amagerensis, look at them sparring right there. So that is an underrated fish for sure. Look how black and orange those things are when they're in flare mode. Look at that male. He's feeling dominant, how orange he is. Look at that fish. Now, sorry, can you see my pimples? Okay, let me fix this. Zoom out, get back. So, I mean, but that's an example. That is a fish that I have had for 9 months. And I've maybe sold 6 in 9 months. So, would I like to bring him? Yeah. Melanotaenium. Yeah, I'd love to bring that fish in, but here it is. You know, we've even got, I mean, he's not black and orange in the picture because I haven't been able to get a picture. But even this, I think, is a decent picture. And they're at least as pretty as a Bosemana in the pictures, right? But that's an example of like beautiful fish that no one buys, and I just stumped. I enjoy that fish every day, along with several other rainbows over here. Like every day I'm looking at them going, those are beautiful. Why is no one buying them? But I really think I've just saturated the market, yeah. Bahuna Aquatics, it's been awesome. Like, it's been awesome talking to so many rainbow fish nerds, so many bowheads, and being able to distribute so many species. And it went really well for, I don't know, a year and a half or so, but I think we got to take a break. Now, not on stuff that's perpetual seller, like a Tinjo and Aves Creek and stuff, but there are certain fish that just sell all the time. But you know, one that I am surprised is not selling is the Alani. Alani Wapoga, like that's a fish that I used to not be able to keep in stock, and I've had a group for, geez, months. So yeah, it's just cycles of the hobby, right? There's a group of people into a fish, but there's only so many. All their tanks are full. I'll give it a rest and focus on another group for a while. Yeah. Okay, Bryce, your buddy in Africa, your buddy the African butterfly cichlid is doing well in his new home. Bryce, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that's one that lived right there. So I would see him every day too, sitting here at my computer. Every now and then you need a break, right? The screen's just too much. So I need a break. Oh, I can just look at some fish. It's a pretty good life, I have to say. I'm glad he's doing well for you, Bryce. Hope you enjoy that guy. Matt West, how aggressive are your mollies? I'd like to try mollies again, but my last male molly systematically killed every other molly in a 65-gallon planted tank and harassed the other fish. They'll do that if they're not in big groups. Yeah, I mean, these are as aggressive as any other sailfin molly. But I will say, if you can get them healthy, then they're probably less likely to be worn down by the assertiveness, shall we say, of the dominant male. But I think mollies you want to keep in a good sized group. That's how I would do it. Now, that being said, we've had tanks. We have a tank right now that's got 4 mollies in it. They're males, and they have lived together for several months, and they're doing fine together. And yeah, they're sparring occasionally and stuff, but so here's my thesis, and it's untested. But what I wonder if what happens is, let's say that there's a differential of health in a tank of mollies, and several of the mollies are less healthy than a couple of the others. And those more healthy ones just get the edge. And I think that they just dominate so much, probably because they're more healthy. So is there aggression? Yes. But I think when you get a differential of, like, some are sick and some aren't, I think that's when it gets really ugly. Because we've got, like I said, we've kept small numbers of mollies together long term with no problems. And then we've had other times where there were problems. But those were also tanks that we had more health issues with. So just a random little thesis that's totally untested, could be totally wrong, but anecdotal observation. Scotty, the fish freak, you are set up to judge, provided the classes you want to, at Dance Fish, you are set up to judge, Johnny, provided the classes you want to do. I think I'm so far behind I don't remember. Sorry, I'm sure that's hilarious, but I'm so far behind that I can't remember what it's in reference to. Holy cow, folks are being very generous tonight. Christopher Gonzalez throwing down a $5 super chat. I'm a truck driver and frequent Wyoming once a week. Wish I had the opportunity to tour your warehouse. Once I set up my aquarium, I'll be ordering from you. Well, I'd be happy, Christopher, to have you come by. I don't mind hobbyists coming by at all. Just send us an email, hello@dancefish.com. I don't know if you're in this part of the state. Sheridan's pretty far north central in Wyoming. I would imagine most of the truckers are down on the 80 on the south part of the state. But if you come up the 25, we're on the 90 between Casper and Billings. And we just need to know in advance so we can, we don't want people coming around on shipping days. That's just, that's too much. So we just want to schedule the time with you, but I'd be happy to show you around. So we're far enough off the beaten path that I feel like I can still do that for now. If I was in a big city, I probably couldn't because there would be so many people that wanted to visit. But I'm out in middle of nowhere, Wyoming, and so it's not likely that the horde is going to descend. So I don't mind doing that. His aquatics and exotics or in reptiles. Sorry, Bob. I'm so OG on Bob's channel that I think of the old names. Throwing down a very generous super chat and the dude version of Pippi Longstocking cheering us on. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate the super chat very much and appreciate you doing what you do all the time for us. For years and years now. Bryce, hey, Dance Fish, your buddy, the African. Oh, okay, already read that one. Thanks for the super chat, Bryce. I'm glad to hear that guy's doing well. And moving on. Fluffy Cow. Cannot wait to finish the fish room and have the tank space to order from you again. I can't either because my business depends on it. So let's get that fish room done, Fluffy Cow Aquatics. No, that's awesome. I'm very excited that you're getting a fish room. And yeah, it was great to meet you the other day. Sorry we were too busy to do much chit chat, but it was good to see you. And I hope the fish are all doing well and may the fish room be amazing. Oh, yeah, no, I'll keep it to fish. I've tangented enough tonight. Dragon layer. I've kept a dozen full-grown angels in a 55-gallon, and they did awesome. Yeah, it's that, big group together. I agree. That's been my experience too. In fact, I've got a video on the channel called Angelfish Aggression, so maybe check that out. That might have some helpful hints. Mountaintop Puffer Keeper. Oh, shoot, Mountaintop, I owe you a check, don't I? I'm going to write myself a sticky. I've sourced some fish from some hobbyists, and I don't want to fall more than like a week behind in payments. So I've got to process that stuff before I leave. I can't remember who I sent checks to and who I didn't, but I've got to double check that and get that all cleared out before I leave. Anyway, Ford Congo Spotted Puffer F1 still going strong. We are to gridnel worms and baby brine shrimp now. I've also added 2 more puffer projects, Abai, and I don't know this one, Paulurius, to my focus this year. Let's look at these. What is Lurius? Okay, so here's Abai. Oh, that's so cool. Dragon Puffer-esque, but with a different, look at that. Shows kind of the red on them. Different spot structure. What a neato fish. And then the one I don't know, Lurius. Is it, let's see here. Is it Chow Pyra? This one says Lurius. But usually when let's see here. I think Chow Pyra and Lurius are probably the same fish, just confusion with the naming. But that's cool too. Wow. Man, Mountaintop, you're the puffer king. Are you still breeding the hairy puffers as well? That's another really cool one. Windy is sidetracked says, I sing, that runs them off. The bears, yeah. I'm the scat man. Good to know. I mean, whatever floats your boat, my friend. Oh, man. Okay, Todd Geis. Hey, Dan, John from KG Tropicals mentioned you and how you're doing this hobby well. He gave you great accolades. I saw that last week. I believe Lisa's the one that brought it up. I need to reach out and thank them. Another note, thank John and Lisa. I've been meaning to throw a comment up there and say thanks for the shout out, but whew. Yeah. Xanadu, all our tanks are full, but some of us are adding more tanks and tubs finally. So yes, more tanks for world peace. Do it for world peace. Get a few more tanks and help the world be a better place. Not to the point of burnout, but people add a little more nature and soothing, you know, stuff like aquariums. How's that? Soothing stuff. That's scientific for you. Anyway, access to nature in the form of aquariums, I think it would just chill people out a bit. Like, it's been amazing. I've read several studies now about the benefits of aquariums. A few anecdotal, but there's one that's awesome that I made a video about, aquariums and mental health. And that study, that I made the video about, convinced me that all the anecdotal stuff and the less scientific studies that we've all read were on the right track. I really think that having some nature in your home, especially in the form of an aquarium, really can help people. And some of us go overboard, right, and get way too many tanks, and then we get stressed because now we have too many tanks to take care of. That's why I love flow-through systems, so much easier. But I really think a little fish in your life is a good thing. Matt West, the health issues with that group of mollies was there. Thank you for the response. Okay, you're welcome. And again, just an anecdotal thought. I haven't proved that out, but it seems like you've had the same experience. So that's another tally in that column. Mark Von Wisco, regarding Sulawesi shrimp, what constitutes hard water? My water out of the tap is 7.8, about 200 to 250 TDS. Yeah, I think 7.8 is pretty hard alkaline water. TDS is less useful a measurement than KH and GH because it's less precise, but so I have 300 parts per million calcium carbonate hardness in my water. 200 to 250, that's pretty hard water, especially if that's mostly calcium carbonate and magnesium. So let's see, those rainbows are prime candidates for a special tank clearing sale. Yeah, just, you know me and sales, we don't get along. I mean, once I put all the money to bring them in, and then I've put in all the money to keep them alive and healthy and stuff for this long, it's like, man, if I put them on sale, I'll eat my shirt. But, I mean, they still sell. It's just not nearly at the rate that they used to. So it's not like we haven't sold any. I mean, you bring in 100 of a species and you only have 20 left. You did okay. Yeah. I hear you, though. I mean, maybe. We have done that in the past when it's like, okay, we need to clear some tanks and get some new inventory. So maybe. I don't know. I'll think about it. No promises, but I'll think about it. Nabokov Fan 87. Any thoughts on how you would handle the scenario of a hobbyist who has, say, 20 to 50 ppm ammonia, from their tap water? What would you do different in that setup? Okay, this is not something I've ever had to deal with, or anyone that I know closely has. I know some people online that have had problems like this, but I've never dealt with it directly. So I don't know if there's a better solution than this, but my solution would be to get a large water storage tub of some kind. And let's say you change water once every week. I don't know what it is, but if it's once a week, I would put your water in there, and I would probably put plants in there and maybe a sponge filter or something, and have that processed to nitrate before I put it into my aquarium. That's the only way I know of to deal with that. If you use things like, well, 20 ppm, I mean, that's 50 ppm, that's a ton. That's a ton of ammonia. Let's see here. Yeah. So 6 ppm is the highest on the scale on your standard ammonia testing kit. So 20 to 50, man, that is danger zone in a big way. Okay, at what concentration do nitrophine bacteria get killed by ammonia? Because they do. If your ammonia is too strong, you'll actually sterilize your ammonia-eating bacteria. I think Tim's Aquatics talked about this. What concentration of ammonia kills nitrophine bacteria? (10 milligrams per liter for nitrosomas and 0.1 milligram per liter for nitrobacter. Ammonia levels of around 5 to 6 ppm will begin to kill the beneficial bacteria. So that wouldn't work. Are you sure you have 20 to 50? I can't imagine that drinking water could have 20 to 50 ppm. That's like toxic levels of ammonia. Dr. Tim, who's the guy I trust when it comes to ammonia, says not to exceed 5 ppm ammonia because it will inhibit the growth of beneficial bacteria. Yeah, so my idea won't work. If indeed you have 20 to 50 parts per million ammonia, then putting that in a tank will just wipe out your nitrophine bacteria. I wouldn't know what to do. Sorry. What I was going to say is you could also detoxify it with Seachem Safe or Prime or whatever, then put it in your aquarium and have your nitrophine bacteria eat it, because they'll eat the detoxified ammonia. I think that's true. But at that scale, I don't know. Yeah, that's a rock and a hard place. I'm sorry. I don't know, Nabokov fan. But I would check your measurements, because that is like so much ammonia that I could not even imagine that that's actually how much would come out in a tap, especially if it's for drinking water. That would be crazy. It's 8:25. I guess we've got a giveaway to do. There are 321 people here. Thanks for being here, folks. Let's see who the winner is. This is for some really nice looking Starry Night Sulawesi shrimp. We'll send you a nice little group of those if you win. And the winner is Bill Coleman. There's a name I recognize. Bill's been here off and on for a while. Hey, Bill, congratulations. You have won. You just need to chime in and claim your winnings. So leave a comment in the chat to claim your winnings. You have 2 minutes to do that. And let's see, let's start a timer for 2 minutes. There you go. Oh, that was quick. Bill is here. Bill, congratulations, you won the shrimp. All you need to do is send us an email with your first name, last name, and mailing address to hello@dansfish.com. That's HELLO@dansfish.com. Congratulations. Thanks for participating. And I think you're going to love these shrimp. Sulawesi shrimp are just amazing. The diversity. Now, I like a good cherry shrimp, or pumpkin spice shrimp, or crystal red shrimp, or whatever. But we've had to really work hard to breed those to be stunning colors, right? Those are not natural. The Sulawesi shrimp did it all by themselves. Au natural. And they're just fantastic. I just think they're amazing. Okay, with that, we're going to sign off. I want to thank my moderators for being here and doing what they do every week to make this live stream successful. Thanks for your time. Thanks for volunteering. I want to thank the members. Thanks for being part of the Fishmonger crew. And those that gave away memberships, thank you. That is super cool, super helpful. Everyone that was throwing money at us in super chats and giving away memberships, just thanks. Always appreciated, never required, but the financial help, well, it's financially helpful, but also it's validation. If people are like, yeah, I find enough value in this, then I'm going to throw this guy a couple bucks. That just makes me feel like what we're doing is a good thing and gives us more juice to want to keep doing it. Especially when, the overwhelming things are positive, but every now and then someone gets pissed off and you get a bad review. And sometimes it's our fault, sometimes it's not. But no matter whose fault it is, when it happens, it's always a little deflating. And I think that's good. I think it should be deflating. And I think that those reviews should be rare enough that when they happen, we feel it. Like if it was just an everyday thing, we get to the point where we're like, whatever. And then we'd be, well, some of our competitors, if I do say so myself. But yeah, so it's nice to counter that with folks that are like, yeah, we're having good experiences. We understand what you're doing. We appreciate it. Here's some bucks. So thank you. Everyone that was live in the chat, thanks for participating. If you are listening on the replay, hello from the past. If you are listening on the podcast, thanks for listening. And if you're listening right now, hail the Lurker Nation. That's it. We'll be back same bat time, same bat channel next week. I'll be at the Coast Club in Southern California speaking. So I hope to see you there Sunday down in Southern California. I would love to meet you if you're in the area. Anyway, until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.